Hello everyone, I have my beer, and today I'm going to teach you everything I know about catching fall bass. Redbeard tips. I'm going to talk to you guys about how to catch fall bass. Now, if you look up fall bass fishing tips or whatever, you'll find two theories. Some either articles or videos or whatever that are on early fall bass fishing, and some that are on late fall. And like early fall is like 55 to 45 degree temperature, I'd say, about there. And late fall is like 45 down to freezing. Obviously here in Colorado, we don't have an early fall, late fall. I mean, fall is it even really technically fall right now? But early fall, and we were at 30 degrees and snowing for a couple of days, and then back up to over 70 for a couple of days. You know, so it's not really early fall, late fall. It's just whatever. But that's what they call it. Here it kind of doesn't really mean anything. Just whatever water temperature. So the very first thing for that is a thermometer. Always have a thermometer in your bag. I don't care what time of year it is. And I'm not the greatest at it. I don't always check it, but especially now too, and you know, spawn time obviously. It's just something great to have if you're pond hopping. And I'm talking about ponds too right now, because I think most of you guys don't have boats, or really any of you do. Most people that are watching this or whatever don't have boats. They're all a lot of bank fishermen, you guys are, and all that. It's a lot of pond fishing and stuff, so I'm not going to talk about when I'm on my boat. Obviously that has a fish finder and has temperature on it and everything, and it's a whole different ball game. Obviously if you're on big lakes, it's going to be hard for you to get to those deep spots when you're on the bank, so that's why I'm just kind of talking about ponds and stuff mostly as well. So, but yeah, get one of these, check the water temperature. So if it's early fall or whatever, 55 degrees to 45 degrees, I'd say. The bass are going to be up shallow, feeding on bluegill. We're going to talk about a lot because that's what's in most of our ponds here. In our ponds we don't really have shad. Shad is in our reservoirs. It's all bluegill for the most part. There's some ponds where they stock shad. Those are kind of more bigger ponds, kind of lakes areas and stuff, but it's mostly bluegill. But either way, shad or bluegill are going to be pushing up, sucking up the last oxygen out of some of those bushes and things, your plant life. They're going to be up there, so bass are going to be feeding on those schools of bait fish, stocking up for when it gets cold. So they are going to be gourding like crazy. That's why you can catch some big old chunks in fall. So if they in that 55 to 45 degree range, if it's in that, up shallow, feeding on the bass, or feeding on the bluegill, then gonna go with a couple of things here. First one, because this one isn't on, it's still on my rod. This is what I was catching them on in the snow in the video that this originally started out for. It's not really a bluegill color, but it is kind of bluegilly. It's a mega bass jerkbait. Not saying you gotta get one of those $25 jerkbaits, but a jerkbait. That is good. And this one is actually not for this time, but you want a shallow running jerkbait. A suspending jerkbait that'll stay pretty shallow, or a floating jerkbait as well, for that shallow time. Okay, and some of these lures are going to cross over. We'll get into that when we get to the even colder water. But alright, so there's that. If you're near rocks and things, or even if you're not, I use square bills all the time, unless it's real thick weeds. But yeah, that's really the only time you want to use this. A square bill. Bluegill color, obviously, match the bait fish. If it's shad, go shad, whatever. Square bill, always works at that time. Just throw it into around the bait fish where you see them bubbling. So that's the big thing, is just finding them and doing these things. The jerkbait, the square bill. Other one, spinnerbait. And you might be asking, why does that bluegill spinnerbait have a white head? Well, because this is just a skirt that I put on an old shad one. But yeah, it works just fine. Actually, it's not an old shad one, it's a newer one that I've never used, but don't want a shad jerkbait. I want a bluegill jerkbait, which are impossible to find most of the time. Or why do I keep saying jerkbait? Spinnerbait. I can't talk sometimes. Alright, so yeah, spinnerbait, square bill, jerkbait. Pretty much it for that time. Sometimes I will throw a chatter, because you know I love my chatterbaits. This is actually a blue and black one. I normally throw green pumpkin pretty much all the time. Rarely throw blue and black anymore. But green pumpkin, you know, looks like a bluegill, so that works. Alright, then the other time, 45 down to freezing, the late fall, or whatever they call it. Jerkbait, again, there's a crossover one. A jerkbait, but you want to go with a deeper diving jerkbait. Because this is where, I guess I didn't even mention it, this is where, okay, it's starting to get colder, bass actually move out deeper, and are just kind of sitting there, all schooled up deep, waiting just kind of for bait fish and things to go. They're not exerting a whole lot of energy. They already kind of started getting into that, well, it's getting cold, we're kind of mellowing out, getting to their winter haunts a little bit. So if you can find some deeper channels in your pond, you know where the deep spots are, that's where I say to go at that time. And of course, check the temperature, 45 to 32, whatever, you know, that area. So yeah, jerkbait first, but a deeper suspending jerkbait, obviously. You can go by whatever your deep spot is, which I will tell you how to find how deep it is if you don't know how to do that. Chatterbait. Chatterbait is another one. You throw into these deep channels at this time. They work great. Throw out that chatterbait. You let it sink to the bottom. If you are on a spot where you know how deep it is, you can count the fall rate of your chatterbait. And then on spots where you don't know how deep it is, you can use that fall rate and figure out how deep it is. If it takes a second to go 2 feet, and then you know when you throw it out there or whatever, you can count it down. That's how you find it. That or a jig. But yeah, that's also how I fish chatterbaits all year round. Throw it out there, let it fall to the bottom, reel it very slowly as you can get away with, to where it's, until it will stop chattering. You want it as slow as you can go with it still chattering. Give it pops every once in a while. That's how I always fish the chatterbait year round, no matter where I'm fishing. That's how you do it. You don't fish it like a spinnerbait. Okay? It's a common misconception. Alright, so jerkbait. Got the chatterbait skimming along the bottom. And then the jig. This is a football head jig. This is in PB&J. I couldn't find a green pumpkin one. I don't know. I think they ended up in another box. I didn't want to search very much. Or a black and blue one. But anyway, so this decent color too. Especially actually this time of year too, when the grass starts dying off and gets brown. Actually, the PB&J actually looks pretty good. But yeah, it's the same thing. Cast it out there, and you're gonna drag it. I kind of mentioned this at the beginning. Drag it as far as you can. Reel in your slack. Shake it a little bit. Okay? Just keep doing that. If you're dragging it, you bump up against a rock, you bump up against a stake, you hit the edge of the weed line or something, you know, you start to feel that. Stop it. Right there. Shake it a little bit. Alright? However you feel comfortable for. Just shake it. And that's it. That's pretty much everything I can tell you. That's these are really all the, oh, no, it's not actually. The last one, lipless crankbait in the deep spots. Pretty much the same as the chatterbait. This works really good if it's not super weedy down there, which a lot of times it isn't, but pretty much let it fall all the way to the bottom. Reel in this lipless crankbait. I love lipless crankbaits this time of year. I don't know why, they always seem to work. I love lipless crankbaits a lot, actually, or I used to, don't really fish them a whole lot anymore. But this time of year, they really work. So, now that's it. It's pretty much easy, but that's everything I can tell you guys. You don't need more than 6 things. And keep everything bluegill color, pretty much, if it's bluegill or shad of a shad, blah, 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 whatever the heck it is. Whatever your bait fish is, you want to keep them that color. Because that is what they're doing right now. They're just feeding on schools of bait fish, especially in the shallow part, with the early fall, whatever. But that's pretty much it. So, hope you guys learned what to throw, where to be, blah, 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 blah. Go get yourself a thermometer if you're not doing that already, because that crap helps year-round. Always do it. Alright, that's it, guys. Thank you. Click on my logo in the upper left-hand corner to subscribe. In the upper right-hand corner, there is my last video I made. In the lower right-hand corner, there's a playlist for you. And in the lower left-hand corner, there is a video that is specifically picked for you. Click on all of them, especially that subscribe one.